So you're old and you've decided to learn guitar. You've come to the right place. I've planned this video so as not to leave anything out. So there will be chapters below on all the different areas. There'll be intro, how to sit, strings and frets, tuning the guitar, warming up fingers, strumming hand, the frets and fretting, reading tab and an example song. Oh, 3 example songs. I'll start with a little bit of waffle about what I'm doing. You probably won't need to listen to that again. So try to remember where you are, get a pen and paper or something like that, or however you record stuff on your device, and make your own notes. It's always good to make your own. Most good students make their own notes, so be a good student. You ready? Good. I'd say this is mainly for over 40s because that's the age where the muscle memory starts to slow down and kick in. But if you're a young whippersnapper, i.e. you're under 40, then you're welcome to watch. You might learn something. It's going to be quicker for some and slower for others. It depends on many different things, like finger dexterity, your personality, your confidence, and if you played an instrument before. By the end of this, you should be able to do a little ditty. Then after that, the next video we'll strum some chords, and so you should be able to play a song within a few weeks. I did mention personality. You need to try and be patient. It does take a little time for this to work. So there will be a little bit of pain and frustration, but trust the process, and you'll click. So it's turned cold. Now we need to deal with how to sit. So I meant to tell you to, you can see the edge of the seat there, you meant to perch on the edge of your seat, back straight. You meant to put your foot on something. Now, I've got various things. I've got these things fashioned out of bits of wood. I've got some other things fashioned out of bits of wood. I've got these things. There are proper footrests you can get. Well, I'll put in the link below. I'll put an affiliate link down there. My guitar teacher used various size empty paint tins. So there's the edge of the seat. So the idea is you want your right leg up, because most people play with the guitar on the right leg, okay, and you want that leg up so it's about horizontal, maybe tilting back a tiny bit, just so the guitar doesn't slide down your leg. I normally have a really low footstool, just a really low one, just so it sits there comfortably between the arm and you're not having to hold the neck of the guitar up. That's the last thing you need. You need to be able to just move up and down the neck comfortably without holding it. Most people, right leg. Put it on the right leg, put this dippy bit in the right leg. Yeah, okay. There are the more Spanishy players, left leg, and it comes up as a nicer angle. Comes up with a nice angle to your wrist there. And I guess that's good. I just don't do that, but I just end up like this all the time, just because I pick up the guitar and put it down so many times in a day. I just leave guitars out. There's guitars around the house, and I just find it hard to walk past them without doing a little twiddle. But I realise most of you will be on the sofa like this, just, you know. That's fine. That's fine. But yeah, just realise how you're meant to sit when you're having trouble getting these chords down or whatever you're doing. I guess I ought to deal with left hand and right hand guitars Okay, so right-handed, you strum with the right hand and do the fingering with the left hand. My last teacher was right-handed, and he advised buying right-handed guitars. It sort of doesn't make sense the way we play guitar, in that we've got our most dexterous hand doing this, and this hand's doing all the hard stuff. Obviously, it gets a bit greyer when we start finger picking a bit with this hand and getting into maybe more complex rhythms. But it's a bit 6 of one and half dozen the other. So yeah, my teacher says buy a right-handed guitar, but you know, if that really doesn't work for you, go left-handed. Next, strings and frets. There are 6 strings in a normal guitar, and we call this string 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'd like to do things upside down and everything difficult in music, make it all harder for you. Anyway, and there are about 20 frets on most guitars, some 22, 21, 24 on some, 19 on others, but yeah, there's tons of frets. There's only 6 strings. Okay, so when I say put your finger on string number 2, that's the second one up, fret 2, it's there. So, and fret 1, these metal things are the frets, okay? And anywhere in here would be fret 1. Anywhere in here would be fret 2, fret 3, and so on, fret 4, fret 5. And these dots, these marker dots, it's not consistent on all guitars as to where they are, but most of the time I'm on at 3, quite often that one's not there, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 12. Don't worry about these ones for now. And the 12 is quite often a double dot here to mark the octave, where so you get 8 notes on one string. Also, we name the strings, and you'll need to know this fairly soon, just when I say, or communicating with any other guitarist, we normally call this the E, A, D, G, B, E string. E, A, D, G, B, E. And the mnemonic, Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. If you don't like that one, elephants and donkeys grow big ears. If you don't like that one, every acid dealer gets busted eventually. Surely you'll like one of those. What's down and up? If we're thinking about it, here we sit on planet Earth, that way's down and that way's up. And, I don't know, this guitar's pointing it up. That's all the other way round as far as music is concerned. Generally when we're talking about music, down and up means the higher notes and down means the lower notes. So that is down because the lower notes go that way, and also that is down. So when I talk down and up, I think of this being up and I think of this being up. Just another thing to make it more difficult for you. For the second time, I'm going to teach you how to tune your guitar. First time I forgot to press record. Okay, 6 strings, E, A, D, G, B, E. You're going to start with the E. Okay, so pluck it. It's picking up an E, which is good. We need that. And so to tighten it, it's a bit counterintuitive. You need to tighten it anti-clockwise. Yeah, if you find yourself turning it more than half a turn or a turn, then the chances are you're going to break a string. Okay, next one. A. Tightening it anti-clockwise. Next one, D. Tightening it anti-clockwise. And next one's the G. Third string up is the G. Next one's a B. Second string up is a B. And the last one's an E. Check him again. He's still a bit flat. Oh, he's a tiny bit flat. D, it's happy with that. G, it's happy with that. Good. E, A, D, G, B, E. We're in tune. Okay, other methods. The old-fashioned way. My guitar teacher used to play his E string. Do that. And we used to adjust ours until it sounded the same as his. Then we held down fret 5 of the E string and then played the A string, and it should sound the same. If not, you adjust that knob. And then the next string, hold down the A string, fret 5, and it's making a D note, so the D string should sound the same. So again, adjust that one until it's correct. And we carry on. We hold down the D string, fret 5. They should sound the same. If not, you adjust the G string, which is that one. Then there's a weird tuning thing on the guitar. You have to go to fret 4 of the G string. But that's what makes the guitar a guitar. This tuning, this weird B string tuning. Okay, yeah, if it doesn't sound the same, then adjust that string for the B string. And lastly, you go back to fret 5 again. They should sound the same. So, that's another way of tuning. There is another way with harmonics, but I think that's beyond this video for beginners. Other ways, there's apps you can get. Free apps. The one I like is the Fender app. Fender Tune, I think it's called. And you can press auto, and that gives you a little bling every time you get it's in tune, tells you what to do. I think that's really good too, but you have to be quiet in the room for that one, because it uses audio, uses sound. And so if you're talking like I am now, then it's going to pick up your voice. So yeah, as long as you've got a quiet environment, then the phone tuner will be great. But, you know, for 10 quid, you can pick up, or whatever it is, it's about 10 quid, you can pick up a tuner. Either that, use the one on the guitar, if you have to use the app, but it's a bit of a faff. Next one, warm up your hands. Now, if you're old like me, I sometimes get arthritis in my hands here, my thumb, sometimes fingers. So, warm them up. So, a good way is a damp and warm. So, warm and water is to actually heat up your hand is a good way to do it. When my hand hurts, I just make fists like that. And, you know, and some people prescribe to doing warm-ups, just do it this way, go up and down. Fine. I prefer to do scales and things like that, which are a bit more useful, but it'll be a while before we get onto scales. Yeah, so that's the warm-up. When is he actually going to play some? We've still got more talking to do. So, strumming and picking hand. So, I'm right-handed, I'm going to strum with the right hand. Yeah, with my thumb or fingers or a pick. And this hand is for fretting. Okay, so let's talk about this hand. So you can pick with your fingers upwards. Some people learn like this with 2 fingers. Don't like that. I I tend to use my thumb until that starts hurting, and then I get a pick. You need to learn all of them, basically. So, thumb, either plucking single strings, or fingers, either plucking single strings, or strumming with your thumb or your fingers, or plectrum, or pick these things. I like these ones. You need something flappy to begin with. I like these ones. I'll put a link below, affiliate link. Okay, so the way you hold a pick, your finger points down the pick, the pointy bit. So you know there's a pointy bit. Your finger points down that bit, and your thumb goes across it. Then you get comfortable, and I just gently strum the strings, or single notes. We do alternate picks as well. Sometimes we pick, sometimes up and down. Sometimes just up, sometimes just down. Down feels great, but sometimes you need the speed and you need to go up and down. What else can I say about picking? Okay, let's just use your thumb to begin with. Now, two main sorts of plucks. Free pluck, where you pluck into thin air. Free pluck. Or a rest pluck, where you pluck and rest onto the next string. Don't mind which you use. Try and keep the movement small rather than being all flouncy. Try and keep the movement small so you can find the string again. Chances are you're going to be playing the same string quite a lot. So, let's play some strings. So, play string number 1. Normal place is over the sound hole. You can pluck it anywhere this end. Okay, so string 1, string 2, string 3, string 4, string 5, string 6, and all 6 of them. Okay, now the fretting hand, fingering hand, okay? Right, so it'd be good to know the strings. So string 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? And the frets. Fret 1, fret 2, fret 3, fret 4, fret 5. Okay, so this whole thing's the fretboard. So fretting hand. So normally, most of the time, if we're fretting a string, so if I say the A string, or string number 5, fret 3. Now, the best place to do it is between the middle of the fret and the front of the fret there. That's the best place. Towards the back of the fret, i.e. furthest away from you, you're likely to get more buzzes. Yeah? Middle of the fret, front of the fret. That's where you'll get the best sound. If you get these thuds and fizzes, that means you're not pressing hard enough. There will be some pain you'll need to go through on a steel string guitar like this one. I'm told it's 2 weeks, but you know, I've been playing guitar for 50 years, so my fingers don't get sore much. Okay, so now most of the time we don't like our fingers to be flat because we mute the other strings, unless we want the other strings to be muted. So I'm going to assume we don't. So most of the time, our fingers, we need to be the fingertip. We're using the fingertip now. Hopefully you'll be able to see a little dent in my finger there. That's the part of the finger that I'm using. Okay. So not just right underneath the fingernail, that'll hurt, but definitely not the pad of the fingertip. Now, you want to keep your finger perpendicular, right angles to the fret, even pointing, clawing down a little bit, and we generally need those fingers clawing. Okay, rather than flat. If they're flat like that, you're gonna touch the other strings. So most of the time, you need the fingers perpendicular to the fretboard as possible. Now, in order to achieve that, the thumb normally needs to be in the middle of the back. Yeah, blues players, a lot of players have the thumb hanging over here. Some weird people have the thumb sticking down here. But normally, you need something for your fingers to squeeze against. So, you can just put that thumb to wherever you need it most. You might need it nearer the weaker fingers on a chord. Okay, so thumb in the middle of the back, fingers perpendicular to the fretboard. Now, if you're sitting incorrectly, then you can't do that. If you've got to like laying the guitar out in front of you because you want to see everything, well, bad news is you can't do that because you can't play guitar like that. Yeah, so you need the guitar upright all the time, and don't get into this habit of, oh, need to do that, find the string, put it back. Can't do that either. So have the guitar vertically in a comfortable position, and if you need to look over, then look over. Okay, so when we're actually holding a fret down, what we're doing, or holding a string down, we're pushing it against the fret in front, and that shortens the length of the string, which gives us the desired note. Okay, so even anywhere within this fret should push the string against that fret. So there's the science in it. So if you're pushing at the back here, you're pushing more against this back fret. That's why you'll get fizzes and thuds. Yeah, so you want to get to the middle, the front of the fret. That's most efficient. Sometimes you can't. Say if you make an A chord like that or like that. Sometimes your fingers have to be at the back of the fret. There's no avoiding it. Depends on the size of your fingers. Some people have got fat fingers. Some people think they got fat fingers, but they haven't got fat fingers. Most of the time, it's just getting this angle right and just making sure you're not touching the other strings. There are some people with massive fingers. Apparently, I've got big fingers. I thought I just had normal hands, but when I buy gloves, it's XXL. They look normal to me, but apparently they're big. But but some have big, fat shovel fingers, and it's really hard to hold one string down. Now, it's not the end of the world. There's a guy you may have heard of called Hendrix. He had big fingers. He seemed to do all right. So yes, ideally, not piano fingers. You need like skinny long fingers would be great, but can't always get that. So now we move on to actually playing something. We're going to start off with something really simple, hopefully, guitar tabs. Now, gone are the days that you needed to learn to read music before you could play the guitar. We do need to read a bit of music the further we get on our guitar journey, but we don't have to spend the time learning the 5-line stave. Nowadays we have a simpler way. We generally know what we want to play, and we just need to know where to put our fingers, and that's what guitar tab does. Here is a guitar tab. You might notice they're upside down for good reason, because you can't see through the back of the guitar, so we do them this way up. So think of them as upside down, where we have at the bottom here we have the low E string, fat one, and then we have the skinny E string at the top there. So these lines, one represents each string. So for this particular one, we're going to be playing this string, which is on the top line of the tab. Now, when you see a 0, that means, if you can see that E line, you see a 0, we read it from left to right. When you see a 0, that means open. You play the string open. You don't put any fingers on the fret here. So then it says 0 again. So the first 2 notes, 0, 0. Okay, then it says 7. So you got to find fret 7. Now we have these marker dots to help us on 3, 5, 7, 9, 12. Now, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There it is. Okay, so you hold down 7. The way I said, with your fingertip pressing against the fret. The front of the fret, end of the fret nearest you is the best way to do it. Middle is good, back could get some buzzes there. So fret 7, and then it says 7 again. Yeah, so far we've got 0, 0, 7, 7. So 0, 0, 7, 7. And then it says 9. So that's done up another 2 frets. 1, 2. To fret 9. And then 9. And then it says another 9. And then it says 7. So we go back to fret 7. So just to recap that first little phrase, 0, 0, 7, 7, 9, 9, 7. 0, 0, 7, 7, 9, 9, 7. Can you guess what it is yet? 0, 0, 7, 7, 9, 9, 7. So just do those bite-sized pieces, get good at the little phrases. Yeah. Don't rush it. Just get good at the 0, 0, 7, 7, 9, 9, 7. So they all have the same duration, except the last one's a bit longer. Okay, so once you get good at that, then you can learn the next bit, which it says 5, 5, 4, 4, 2, 2, 0. Now, I'm memorising that. 5, 5, 4, 4, 2, 2, 0. So I'm going to go 5, 5, 5, 4, 4, 2, 2, 0. It's easy, isn't it? So 5, 5, 4, 4, 2, 2, 0. I'm going to get good at that segment, and then I put them together. Okay, so I've got 0, 0, 7, 7, 9, 9, 7, 5, 5, 4, 4, 2, 2, 0. So 0, 0, 7, 7, 9, 9, 7, 5, 5, 4, 4, 2, 2, 0. That's easy as that. The spaces between the notes don't always mean anything, okay? So sometimes the way people write their tabs out, yes, they'll put bigger spaces for longer notes, but that's not necessarily true. There is no official standard for writing tabs out. And so people have slightly different ways of doing things. Representing things like bends and when we get to those. So there's no official standard of guitar tabs. Okay, so that's Twinkle Twinkle done on the high E string. Okay, so now let's move on to Smoke on the Water. Now this traditional thing to learn on the guitar, we tend to learn it on in the wrong key to begin with. So we're going to learn this on the fat E string. So hopefully you can see from the tab, yeah, when you're looking at the tab and it's upside down, you can see it's the fat E string. Okay, so first phrase is 0, 3, 5. So 0, 3, 5. Yeah, so the dot is 3 and the next dot is 5. Hopefully you've got those dots on your guitar. You might not have. If you're posh, you might just have one dot on 7. Or really posh, probably got no dots at all. And so, first phrase, 0, 3, 5. At this stage, you can just use your favourite finger. But at some point, we're going to ask you to use lots of fingers. Well, all of these 4. Maybe later on your thumb. But there's a thing called 1 finger per fret, so we maybe use that later on, but I don't care which fingers you use, you just got to get used to playing. So 0, 3, 5, using whichever fingers you like. That's the first phrase. Get good at that. Then the second phrase, 0, 3, 6, 5. Now, the way I've said that, that's like the duration of the notes. 0, 3, 6, 5. So that sixth note's a short one. So it's the sixth note, not the sixth note. Happens to be the sixth note, but the six is the short one. So 0, 3, 6, 5. Yeah, so that's that second phrase. 0, 3, 6, 5. Okay, so the first and second phrase. 0, 3, 5, 0, 3, 6, 5. Okay, now I'm going to do the last phrase. I might be going a bit fast for you at the minute. You know, that's why you've got YouTube. You can normally press the space bar to pause and the back arrow just to rewind 5 seconds, I think it is. I'm assuming you're on a decent sized screen rather than your phone, but some will be on your phone, but anyway, that's the first two phrases. The last phrase, 0, 3, 5, 3, 0. 0, 3, 5, 3, 0. That's the last phrase, 0, 3, 5, 3, 0. And then when you get good at that, you put that all together. 0, 3, 5, 0, 3, 6, 5, 0, 3, 5, 3, 0. Yeah, you won't be able to play along with the record because the record is more down here, this sort of key. Down there. Anyway, so that's Smoke on the Water, done. One note on getting good is knowing where you are. You always know where you are. It's like walking. You know where your feet are. You don't care where your feet are now. You're more caring about where you're going next. Okay? It's the same with guitar. So with this 0, 3, 5, so 0, I don't care about it. So I don't need to look at a website. So I can look at fret 3. I can look where I'm going next. So 0, 3, 5. So always look, try and think ahead a little bit. Sometimes it's not good to think ahead too much, but it's good to be one step ahead, 1 or 2 steps ahead on the guitar, and that's how you get faster at it. Just knowing where you're going next all the time. Okay, next little tunette will be Seven Nation Army, after I've taken the bin out of the oven. So now, Seven Nation Army. He doesn't necessarily play it like this. He open tunes his guitar, does all sorts of weird stuff. But we're going to do a representation of it. So I'm going to use the same finger for all this. So I'm going to use my index finger. So this is done on the E and the A string. So most of it is done on the A string. If you look at the tab, so again, visualize it upside down. So the bottom line is the E string and the next line up is the A string, upside down. So most of this is going to be on the A string. So fret 7. So 7, 7, 10 are the first 3 notes. So 7, 7, 10. So remember what I said about looking ahead. So once I'm on 7, I know my finger's there, so I've got to look at 10 in order to get there. When you're going up and down the neck, you pretty much got to look at the you got to look at the neck. Even you know, when you're quite advanced, if you're doing big travels up and down the neck, it's hard to do that without looking. So there's a point where you got to memorize something. So this is probably a good time to do it. So 7, 7, 10. So I'm looking at 7, but now I know where 7 is. I'm looking where I've got to step next. So 7, 7, 10. Yeah, so it goes like this. 7. Probably know it. It's also a football chant, I think. Not sure which clubs. But anyway, so 7, 7, 10. So then we're going to go 7, 7, 7, 10, 7. So I'm just building up the phrase. Bite-sized pieces, building a little bit at a time. 7, 7, 10, 7. 7, 7, 10, 7. And then we got 5 after that. So 7, 7, 10, 7, 5. 7, 7, 10, 7, 5. Building it up. 7, 7, 10, 7, 5. Now we're going to add 3 and 2. So 7, 7, 10, 7, 5, 3, 2. The last note's a bit longer. So 7, 7, 10, 7, 5, 3, 2. And that's all you need to practice for a while and get good at that phrase. 7, 7, 10, 7, 5, 3, 2. 7, 7, 10, 7, 5, 3, 2. So that's the main riff, and then there's like a turnaround riff, which is up to the E string. Do that 8 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the E string fret 5. 8 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the way I've written it out in the tab, you do it 3 times. You do the main riff 3 times and then go back and do the turnaround once. The 3s and the 5s. Do that once. Just gives you a nice little practice routine. It's not exactly the song. The song, you do this main riff a ridiculous number of times, and I've got it written down somewhere, but I guess you're just wanting to play guitar to get something out of it at the minute. So I'm giving you easy things to do to get something out of the guitar so it feels like you're getting somewhere, because it's a confidence game, this learning guitar. So you just got to build up your confidence slowly. Try not to take on too difficult things too soon. Sometimes it's good to do difficult things because then it makes the easy things easier. But you just got to be careful. It depends who you are and your personality as you know as well. So just be careful on taking on too much too soon. Here's the routine. I'm going to do the main riff 3 times and then the turnaround once. And just keep repeating it. So 7, 7, 10, 7, 5, 3, 2, and then do it again. 7, 7, 10, 7, 5, 3, 2, and again. Then the turnaround. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 5, 5, 5, 5. Start again. 7, 7, 10, 7, 5, 3. My eyes are always keeping 1 step ahead. Okay. So practice little and often. Next, we're on to chords. Next video, or next part of this video, haven't decided yet.